Question 1. Which of the following best describes the responsibilities of an insurance adjuster under Utah's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act? A. An adjuster must ensure that claims are processed quickly without regard for policy coverage to reduce the insurer's costs. B. An adjuster is required to settle claims in a fair and timely manner, providing written notice of claims decisions within specified deadlines. C. An adjuster may prioritize the insurer's interests over the claimant's needs as long as it is financially advantageous. D. An adjuster is not responsible for adhering to statutory deadlines for claims decisions as these are set by the insurance company's internal policies. Answer. B. Explanation. Under Utah's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act, adjusters are legally obligated to handle claims promptly and fairly. This includes ensuring timely responses to claims, communicating in writing regarding claims decisions, and complying with statutory deadlines for reporting and settlement. Prioritizing the insurer's interests over the claimant's or failing to meet deadlines would be in violation of the UCSPA, which mandates fair treatment for claimants. Therefore, options A, C, and D are incorrect as they do not align with ethical and legal standards. Question 2, scenario-based. Mr. Miller recently filed a homeowner's insurance claim for water damage caused by a burst pipe in his kitchen. He has been cooperative and provided all necessary documentation. However, after inspecting the damage, the adjuster noticed that the pipe was already corroded before the incident and there were signs of neglect. What should you do next? A. Approve the claim in full because the water damage was caused by a burst pipe, which is covered under the policy. B. Deny the claim outright because the damage was due to pre-existing conditions which are not covered by the insurance policy. C. Investigate further by consulting an expert to determine if the damage is due to wear and tear or an accidental cause, and then proceed with the claim based on the findings. D. Delay the claim decision until Mr. Miller can provide proof that the pipe was maintained according to the policy requirements. Answer. C. Explanation. In this scenario, the adjuster should not automatically approve or deny the claim without a thorough investigation. While the burst pipe itself might be covered, the adjuster must confirm whether the damage resulted from a covered event, such as an accident, or from pre-existing issues, e.g. neglect or wear and tear, which are typically excluded from coverage. An expert assessment is necessary to properly evaluate the cause and extent of the damage. Denying the claim outright without investigation or delaying it without clear justification would be improper. Question 3. When adjusting a workers' compensation claim, which of the following best describes the adjuster's responsibility in the context of medical records? A. The adjuster should ignore medical records if the claimant's treating physician is not on the insurer's preferred provider list. B. The adjuster must assess medical records to verify the severity of the injury and the appropriate treatment, ensuring compliance with workers' compensation laws. C. The adjuster is responsible for determining the claimant's eligibility for workers' compensation benefits based on the claimant's employer's policies. D. The adjuster should rely solely on the claimant's statements and ignore any medical records or opinions from healthcare providers. Answer. B. Explanation. In the context of workers' compensation claims, an adjuster has the duty to evaluate medical records to determine the nature and extent of the injury. The adjuster must ensure that the medical treatment aligns with the requirements set out by workers' compensation laws and is reasonable for the injury sustained. This involves reviewing the claimant's medical records, understanding the diagnosis and treatment plan, and ensuring the claim is in compliance with relevant regulations. Ignoring medical records or relying solely on statements from the claimant would not provide an accurate or fair evaluation of the claim. Question 4. Which of the following is a primary responsibility of an adjuster when investigating a property damage claim? A. The adjuster should determine if the claimant has maintained the property according to the policy requirements before evaluating the extent of damage. B. The adjuster should focus only on the damages that are clearly covered under the policy, disregarding any potential exclusions. C. The adjuster should evaluate the extent of the damage and ensure the claim is processed based on the terms and conditions of the policy, considering exclusions where applicable. D. The adjuster should only consider the initial reported damages and not attempt to investigate for any underlying causes or additional losses. Answer. C. Explanation. The adjuster must thoroughly evaluate the entire scope of the damage, ensuring that all aspects are considered according to the terms of the policy. This includes assessing the damage and considering any potential exclusions or limitations outlined in the policy. The adjuster should not disregard possible exclusions or limit the investigation to the obvious damage, as this could lead to an inaccurate or unfair settlement. Option C reflects the adjuster's duty to consider all elements of the claim, including exclusions, while ensuring compliance with the policy. Question 5. Which of the following actions is most likely to be considered unethical for an insurance adjuster in Utah? A. Adjusting claims based on the policy language and documentation provided by the insured. B. Acting in the best interest of the insurer while still ensuring fairness to the claimant. C. Misrepresenting the facts of a claim to favor the insurer's position, even if it reduces claim payments. D. Settling claims in a timely manner, within the deadlines specified by Utah's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act. Answer. C. Explanation. Misrepresenting the facts of a claim is a clear violation of ethical standards and could lead to charges of fraud or unethical conduct. Insurance adjusters are required to be impartial, providing a fair evaluation of claims based on the facts and policy language, while acting in the insurer's interest is part of the role. This must not come at the expense of fairness to the claimant. Option C represents a direct violation of professional conduct standards, making it the unethical choice. Question 6. Under Utah's insurance code, which of the following is a prohibited practice for insurance adjusters? A. Suggesting that a claimant should accept a settlement offer before the full extent of their damages is determined. B. Offering claimant a prompt settlement to help them resolve their issues quickly and efficiently. C. Discussing claim options with legal counsel when it is requested by the claimant. D. Allowing claimants to submit medical records for review after an accident to aid in claim assessment. Answer. A. Explanation. Under Utah's insurance code, suggesting or pressuring a claimant to accept a settlement offer prematurely is a prohibited practice. This violates the principle of fair claims handling and could lead to settlement of claims without proper investigation or consideration of all the facts. Adjusters must ensure that settlements are not made hastily and are based on the full and accurate evaluation of the claim. Offering prompt settlements, consulting legal counsel, and reviewing medical records are all acceptable practices, provided they are done in good faith and in compliance with the law. Question 7. Scenario-based. MS. Peterson is a business owner whose property suffered significant fire damage. The fire started in her warehouse due to faulty wiring. After reviewing the property damage, the adjuster notices that the building's wiring was not up to code, which violated state building regulations. The insurer questions whether the damage is covered under the policy given the failure to adhere to safety codes. What should the adjuster consider when making the claim decision? A. The adjuster should deny the claim outright due to the failure to follow state safety codes, as the damages are the result of negligence. B. The adjuster should accept the claim but reduce the payout based on the state's building code violation and the insured's contribution to the cause of loss. C. The adjuster should proceed with the claim without considering the building code violation, as the cause of loss is unrelated to the insured's conduct. D. The adjuster should advise the claimant to file a claim with the local government instead of pursuing a property insurance claim. Answer. B. Explanation. In this scenario, while the failure to adhere to safety codes may be a factor in determining liability, it is not automatically grounds for denying the claim. The adjuster must consider whether the damages were a result of an excluded peril, such as negligence or a violation of safety codes. However, many policies cover fire damage unless the policy explicitly excludes damages from violations of building codes. The adjuster might reduce the payout if it can be shown that the violation contributed to the severity of the loss, but a full denial of the claim is generally not justified unless clearly stipulated in the policy. Question 8. When adjusting a commercial property insurance claim for a theft loss, the adjuster must A. Deny the claim if the property owner did not immediately report the theft to the police. B. Ensure that the claimant's business continuity and revenue losses are covered under the commercial property policy. C. Focus solely on the stolen property without assessing the cause of the break-in or other potential liabilities. D. Verify the value of the stolen items, review the security measures in place, and check for any exclusions related to theft in the policy. Answer. D. Explanation. In a theft claim, the adjuster must verify the value of the stolen property, examine security measures in place at the time of the theft, and review the policy for any exclusions that might affect coverage. G. Exclusions for theft if security measures were inadequate. Denying the claim for failing to report to the police immediately may not be justified unless required by the policy. Additionally, while business continuity coverage may be applicable under certain circumstances, G. If the business interruption is covered, the focus in this case should be on verifying the facts of the theft itself. Option D provides the most comprehensive and thorough approach. Question 9. An adjuster is handling a casualty claim for an automobile accident in Utah. The claim involves multiple parties and the insured driver has been found partially at fault. Which of the following would most likely be included in the adjuster's investigation? A. Evaluating the extent of injuries and damages to all involved parties and determining the insured's liability in the accident. B. Focusing only on the insured driver's damages as the other parties involved are covered under their own insurance policies. C. Denying the claim due to the insured's partial fault as it will complicate the settlement. D. Assessing only the physical damages to the insured vehicle, ignoring the damages to third parties involved in the accident. Answer 8. Explanation. In a multi-party casualty claim, the adjuster's role is to assess the damages to all parties involved and determine the degree of liability for each party, including the insured. The adjuster must investigate the accident thoroughly to ensure that all damages are fairly accounted for and liability is apportioned correctly. Even though the insured is partially at fault, the claim is not automatically denied. The adjuster should also consider any applicable coverage for third parties, subrogation issues, and any potential settlement negotiations. Question 10. Which of the following best describes how an adjuster should calculate the indemnity amount for a property damage claim based on replacement cost coverage? A. The indemnity amount should be based on the current market value of the damaged property before the loss occurred. B. The indemnity amount should reflect the cost to repair or replace the property with materials of like kind and quality without depreciation. C. The indemnity amount should be based on the actual cash value of the property considering the age and condition of the property. D. The indemnity amount should exclude any additional living expenses or temporary repairs unless they are explicitly covered under the policy. Answer. B. Explanation. Replacement cost coverage is intended to provide sufficient funds to repair or replace damaged property with new materials of like kind and quality. This means that depreciation is not deducted from the indemnity amount. Option B correctly outlines how replacement cost is calculated, whereas options and C reflect incorrect methods for calculating indemnity based on actual cash value, which factors in depreciation. Option D is irrelevant because it pertains to additional living expenses, which are typically a separate form of coverage under a policy. Question 11. In the case of an environmental damage claim, the adjuster must consider A. The insured's responsibility for the pollution only if the insured intentionally caused the environmental damage. B. The applicable policy exclusions related to environmental damage, such as pollution and contamination exclusions. C. The insured's attempt to mitigate the damage after the environmental event, disregarding whether the event is covered. D. The claimers. A standard property damage claim without considering any potential environmental laws or regulations. Answer. B. Explanation. Environmental damage claims often involve complex coverage issues, including exclusions for pollution and contamination. The adjuster must review the policy for specific exclusions related to environmental damage, as many property and casualty policies have pollution exclusions that limit coverage for damage caused by pollutants or contaminants. Option B highlights the need to consider these exclusions, while the other options do not fully address the complexities of environmental claims. Question 12. Which of the following would most likely lead to a claim being denied under a homeowner's insurance policy in Utah? A. A water leak from a broken pipe that occurred after the homeowner neglected to repair visible plumbing issues. B. A fire caused by an electrical fault that had been previously repaired by a licensed electrician. C. A theft of personal property where the homeowner had locked all doors and windows and there was no sign of forced entry. D. A windstorm that causes damage to a roof but the homeowner had recently performed necessary maintenance to secure the roof. Answer. A. Explanation. Most homeowners' insurance policies include a duty to maintain the property in good condition. If damage results from neglect or failure to maintain the property, such as a water leak from a broken pipe that was left unrepaired, the insurer may deny the claim. Negligence or failure to act on known issues often leads to a claim denial. The other scenarios typically fall within the coverage of standard policies unless exclusions are in place. Question 13. Under Utah law, what is the primary consideration when determining whether a business interruption claim is covered? A. Whether the insured business suffered a loss of income due to a covered cause of loss. B. Whether the insured's business has made any attempt to mitigate the impact of the interruption. C. Whether the interruption is directly related to a civil disturbance or governmental order. D. Whether the insured has business interruption coverage listed as an endorsement in the policy. Answer. A. Explanation. Business interruption claims are typically covered when the loss of income is directly due to a covered cause of loss, such as fire, storm, etc. The insured must prove that the interruption is a direct result of such a covered event. While mitigation efforts and specific endorsements might play a role in the claim process, the primary consideration is whether the interruption is caused by a covered peril. The policy should specify the scope of coverage, and business interruption coverage may be separate from other coverages. Question 14, scenario-based. Mr. Johnson's vehicle was damaged in a collision with another car and the other driver is at fault. The adjuster reviews the damage and determines the cost to repair the vehicle. However, Mr. Johnson's vehicle was already in need of significant repairs before the accident. How should the adjuster proceed with calculating the settlement? A. The adjuster should only pay for the damage caused by the accident, excluding any pre-existing damage. B. The adjuster should account for the pre-existing damage and reduce the payout to the claimant for any repairs needed prior to the accident. C. The adjuster should pay for the total repair cost, regardless of pre-existing damage, as it is covered under the policy. D. The adjuster should deny the claim because of the pre-existing damage and not cover any repairs. Answer A. Explanation. When calculating a settlement, the adjuster must focus on the damage caused by the accident itself and exclude pre-existing damage. Insurance policies typically cover only the new damage resulting from a covered peril, not the costs of repairs to pre-existing conditions. If the vehicle had issues before the accident, the adjuster should only pay for repairs related to the accident and exclude any costs related to the prior damage. Question 15. Which of the following best describes the role of an insurance adjuster when dealing with a claim involving property damage due to vandalism? A. The adjuster is responsible for replacing the damaged property with new identical items. B. The adjuster is required to determine the cause of the vandalism and assess any criminal liability for the vandalism. C. The adjuster should evaluate the damage, determine the extent of the loss, and review the policy for applicable exclusions or coverage limits. D. The adjuster should only focus on the value of the property at the time of the vandalism without considering depreciation. Answer C. Explanation. The adjuster's primary role is to evaluate the damage, estimate the loss, and determine the appropriate payout based on the terms of the policy. This includes considering the policy's exclusions and coverage limits for vandalism-related claims. The adjuster is not responsible for determining criminal liability or replacing property with identical items, though the extent of the damage and the value of the loss will be important factors. Question 16. Under Utah's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act, which of the following actions would likely be considered an unfair claims practice? A. Settling claims within a reasonable time frame after thoroughly investigating the loss. B. Failing to provide a timely and reasonable explanation for a claim denial or partial settlement. C. Providing claimants with the full policy limits when the damage clearly exceeds those limits. D. Requesting additional documentation from the claimant if needed to process the claim. Answer B. Explanation. Under Utah's Unfair Claims Settlement Practices Act, it is considered an unfair claims practice if the insurer fails to provide a timely and reasonable explanation for a claim denial or partial settlement. Insurers must be transparent and clear with claimants regarding why their claims are denied or settled at a lower amount. The other actions are standard practices that do not constitute unfair claims practices. Question 17, scenario-based. Mrs. Thompson files a claim after a lightning strike causes a fire in her home. The insurance adjuster discovers that her home had several unreported pre-existing electrical issues that may have contributed to the fire. What should the adjuster do next? A. Deny the claim as the fire was partially caused by the pre-existing electrical issues. B. Investigate the extent of the damage caused by the lightning and consider the policy's coverage for fire damage caused by a covered peril. C. Reduce the payout based on the assumption that the pre-existing issues worsened the fire, but still attribute full responsibility to the lightning strike. D. Immediately reject the claim because the fire could have been avoided if the electrical issues had been reported. Answer B. Explanation. The adjuster should investigate the cause of the fire to determine whether the lightning strike is the direct cause of the loss, as lightning strikes are typically covered under most homeowners' policies. While the pre-existing electrical issues may have contributed to the extent of the damage, the lightning strike is the covered peril in this case. The adjuster should evaluate the claim based on the terms of the policy, considering both the covered and non-covered aspects of the damage. Question 18. In a liability insurance claim, what is the primary focus of the adjuster during the investigation? A. To determine the cause of the incident and whether the insured is at fault for the damage or injury. B. To ensure that the claimant receives the highest possible payout regardless of fault. C. To negotiate a settlement that protects the insured's reputation even if the claim is fraudulent. D. To dismiss the claim if the damage was caused by an uninsured party. Answer A. Explanation. The primary responsibility of the adjuster in a liability insurance claim is to determine the cause of the incident and assess the insured's fault in causing the damage or injury. This process ensures that the insurer is not held responsible for damages outside the scope of the policy. The adjuster must remain neutral, fair, and factual in investigating the claim, ensuring that any settlement or payout is based on the facts of the case and the policy's terms. Question 19. In Utah, how should an adjuster handle a claim where the insured has filed a complaint about the initial claims handling process? A. The adjuster should dismiss the complaint and proceed with the original decision. B. The adjuster should investigate the complaint thoroughly and, if necessary, make adjustments to the settlement based on new evidence or understanding. C. The adjuster should ignore the complaint if it seems unfounded or frivolous. D. The adjuster should immediately offer a larger settlement to satisfy the insured. Answer B. Explanation. When an insured files a complaint about the claims handling process, the adjuster should investigate the complaint thoroughly. This may involve reassessing the claim or considering new evidence. Adjusters are required to provide fair and timely service, and if an error was made or new facts are discovered, the claim may need to be adjusted to reflect this. Ignoring the complaint or offering an immediate settlement without proper investigation would not be considered responsible claims handling. Question 20. Which of the following best describes the role of an insurance adjuster in managing claims involving bodily injury? A. The adjuster must always settle bodily injury claims for the maximum policy limit, regardless of the claimant's actual injuries. B. The adjuster should assess the medical treatment provided to the claimant, evaluate the impact of the injuries on the claimant's life, and negotiate a fair settlement based on the policy limits. C. The adjuster should automatically reject any bodily injury claims that do not include medical bills at the time of the claim. D. The adjuster should deny all bodily injury claims that involve minor injuries or no medical treatment. Answer B. Explanation. The adjuster's role in managing bodily injury claims includes evaluating the claimant's medical treatment and the impact of the injury on their life. The adjuster should negotiate a settlement based on the severity of the injury and the policy limits. It is not appropriate to automatically settle for the maximum limit or to reject claims simply because they do not have medical bills at the time of filing. Claims should be evaluated based on all available evidence, including medical reports and the claimant's situation. Question 21. Which of the following is true about the requirements for a Utah insurance adjuster's license? A. An insurance adjuster must be at least 25 years old to apply for a license in Utah. B. An applicant must pass both a written exam and a background check to obtain a claims adjuster license in Utah. C. An insurance adjuster is only required to submit an online application to receive a license in Utah. D. A Utah insurance adjuster's license is valid indefinitely without the need for renewal. Answer B. Explanation. In Utah, an applicant for an insurance adjuster license must pass a written exam and undergo a background check. These are standard requirements to ensure that the adjuster is qualified and trustworthy. The license must be renewed periodically, and applicants cannot solely rely on online applications to receive a license. Question 22. Scenario-based. An insurance adjuster is investigating a claim for a homeowner whose house was damaged by a fallen tree during a windstorm. The homeowner's policy includes coverage for wind damage, but the adjuster notices the homeowner had failed to trim the tree despite previous warnings. What should the adjuster do? A. Deny the claim because the homeowner failed to trim the tree. B. Adjust the payout based on the homeowner's negligence, but still pay for the wind damage caused by the storm. C. Deny the claim because the windstorm was not the direct cause of the damage. D. Pay the full claim because wind damage is covered under the policy. Answer B. Explanation. While the homeowner may have neglected to trim the tree, which could be considered negligence, the adjuster should still evaluate the extent of the wind damage caused by the storm, which is covered under the policy. The adjuster can reduce the payout if negligence contributed to the loss, but the storm's impact should still be compensated. Question 23. Which of the following is the primary responsibility of an adjuster when dealing with a claim involving fraud? A. The adjuster must settle the claim as quickly as possible to avoid any further complications. B. The adjuster should report any suspicion of fraud to the insurer's fraud division and cooperate with law enforcement if necessary. C. The adjuster should attempt to negotiate a settlement with the claimant to avoid a lengthy legal process. D. The adjuster should immediately reject all claims that seem suspicious without investigation. Answer B. Explanation. When an adjuster suspects fraud, their primary responsibility is to report the suspicion to the insurer's fraud division. The adjuster should also cooperate with law enforcement or regulatory authorities if necessary. Handling fraud claims requires a thorough investigation to ensure that the claim is valid and not fraudulent. Question 24. In Utah, how long does an insurance company typically have to settle a claim after the claim is filed? A. 30 days. B. 45 days. C. 60 days. D. 90 days. Answer. B. Explanation. Under Utah law, insurance companies generally have 45 days to settle a claim after it is filed. This is the period during which the insurer must acknowledge receipt of the claim and begin the claims handling process. The exact timeline may vary depending on the complexity of the claim. Question 25, scenario-based. An insured files a claim for a roof damaged by hail. The adjuster determines that the roof is 15 years old and the damage is extensive. The insurer's policy includes coverage for hail damage, but it has a depreciation clause for roofing materials. How should the adjuster proceed? A. The adjuster should calculate the replacement cost minus depreciation based on the roof's age and condition. B. The adjuster should only pay for the cost of repairs, as the damage is not covered under the policy. C. The adjuster should immediately pay for a full roof replacement, regardless of the roof's age. D. The adjuster should deny the claim because the roof was too old to be covered. Answer. Explanation. In this case, the adjuster should calculate the settlement based on the roof replacement cost minus depreciation for the roof's age and condition. Many insurance policies include depreciation clauses for materials like roofing, meaning the insurer only pays a portion of the cost based on the roof's useful life and wear. Question 26. If a policyholder's auto insurance policy includes comprehensive coverage, which of the following would be covered? A. A collision with another vehicle. B. A fire caused by an electrical issue. C. The theft of personal property from the vehicle. D. Damages from a windshield chip. Answer. B. Explanation. Comprehensive coverage typically covers damage to the insured vehicle that is caused by events other than a collision, such as fire, vandalism, theft, or falling objects. In this case, the fire caused by an electrical issue would be covered under comprehensive coverage. Collision coverage, on the other hand, covers damage resulting from a collision with another vehicle. Question 27, scenario-based. An insured files a claim for a car accident. The adjuster determines that the other driver is at fault, but the insured's policy has a high deductible. The insured is unhappy with the settlement amount, which does not cover the full cost of repairs. What should the adjuster do? A. The adjuster should refuse to pay more than the deductible amount, as the insured's policy requires it. B. The adjuster should advise the insured to file a claim with the at-fault driver's insurance to cover the deductible. C. The adjuster should cover the entire cost of repairs, ignoring the deductible. D. The adjuster should deny the claim and tell the insured to resolve the matter with the other driver. Answer. B. Explanation. The adjuster should advise the insured to file a claim with the at-fault driver's insurance to recover the deductible. Since the other driver is at fault, the insured can pursue compensation from the at-fault driver's insurer for the deductible amount. The adjuster's role is to ensure that the insured's claim is handled correctly under their own policy while providing guidance for recovering costs from the other party. Question 28. Under Utah law, what is the maximum time frame an insurance company has to acknowledge a claim after it is received? A. 5 days. B. 10 days. C. 15 days. D. 30 days. Answer. B. Explanation. Utah law requires an insurance company to acknowledge a claim within 10 days after receiving it. This acknowledgement can be a written notice or a phone call confirming the receipt of the claim and explaining the next steps in the claims process. This requirement ensures that policyholders are kept informed about their claim status. Question 29. Which of the following situations would most likely lead to a claim under a homeowner's policy and Utah being denied? A. A break-in where the homeowner's doors and windows were left unlocked. B. A fire caused by faulty wiring that was previously inspected by a licensed electrician. C. A storm damage claim for a roof that was regularly maintained. D. A water damage claim due to a burst pipe in a well-maintained plumbing system. Answer. A. Explanation. Homeowners' policies typically require the insured to take reasonable precautions to prevent theft, such as locking doors and windows. If the doors and windows were left unlocked, the insurer may deny the claim based on the homeowner's failure to meet their responsibility to protect the property from theft. Question 30, scenario-based. A policyholder's auto insurance policy has a personal injury protection (PIP) component. After an accident, the policyholder incurs medical expenses, but the insurer only partially covers the medical costs. What should the adjuster do next? A. Deny the claim because the insurer has already paid part of the medical costs. B. Review the policy for PIP coverage limits and the applicable exclusions and ensure that the claimant has met the necessary criteria for full coverage. C. Pay the remaining medical expenses immediately to satisfy the policyholder's request. D. Recommend the policyholder pursue a personal injury lawsuit to cover the remaining medical expenses. Answer. B. Explanation. The adjuster should review the policy to confirm the coverage limits for PIP and ensure that the claimant has met the criteria for the benefits under the policy. PIP coverage has specific limits, and the adjuster needs to assess whether the remaining medical expenses are covered under the policy. If the claim exceeds the PIP limits, the adjuster should explain the available coverage and options for further compensation.